So earlier this week, I had a period of disconnect, a short moment of disconnect with my girlfriend. And as you guys can imagine, anytime that you have an unpleasant experience with someone that you're close to, or if you have a negative outward experience like getting fired from your job or something like that, you're gonna experience in life periods of being down, whether that be an hour, a week, a month, or a year. And I think that a really crucial skill as a human being is learning how to recontextualize those experiences internally and how to transcend them. And so what was really beautiful that came out of this experience was it further instilled two realizations that I'm going to share with you guys today on how to do just that. The first one is something I've talked about before in other videos, and it is to ignore the thoughts and focus on the sensations. So whenever you maybe have an argument with someone or you have something bad happen to you, inevitably the mind is going to run through a never-ending series of mentalizations, justifications, rationalizations, and it'll just be folding over itself over and over and over again. And I myself, when I was younger, have spent many days literally just replaying through experiences, moving them over again and again in my mind, seeing if they would be any different. This can happen pretty much indefinitely. And from delving into meditation and other spiritual practices, we'll discover that beneath every thought process and beneath every negative thought pattern are sensations in the body that we are resisting. So these might be sensations that we describe as unpleasant, but every thought pattern can be broken down into a sensation that we're experiencing in our body. The quickest way to overcome these thoughts is not to focus on them, but instead to go to the sensations, and as they say in Vipassana, to feel these sensations equanimously, which means to feel the sensations without attraction or aversion. To develop the courage within yourself to feel the negative sensations and feelings, the uncomfort, and to surrender to that, and to be okay feeling those sensations, and to become familiar with them. And this is a skill that is very worth developing in life, and what we can hold hard and fast to while we're undergoing the suffering is the knowingness that if we focus on a sensation and we feel it fully for long enough, every sensation will eventually dissipate 100%. So step 2 is very subtle, and it's regarding letting go. So what I discovered from having this experience with my girlfriend was that we might have a negative experience. And if we look at it objectively, it's not really that bad. Okay, I had a short period of disconnect, not a big deal. But it's the axillary emotions, judgments, guilt, criticism that we pile on top of that makes that initial experience 10 times worse. So what I mean by that is, with my girlfriend, we haven't been in a relationship for that long. And so this was actually the first fight that we have had. We've had a super healthy and positive relationship, and I think that I built up like this self-image of our relationship that it's just amazing, and we never don't get along. And when I experienced this, it instantly produced within my ego all these thoughts of like, why is this happening? And like this self-judgment of like, what is this me? Am I doing this? Or this criticism like, I should be letting go of this. Why am I allowing this to happen? And maybe a fear that it would continue for forever, even though it was like 1 hour. And I thankfully, through meditation and observation, I was able to see this while it was happening. And I asked myself, okay, am I willing to let go of the need to get along with her all the time? Am I willing to let go of these feelings of guilt and judgment about myself for experiencing this? And the answer was yes. And so I let go and I surrendered, and I said, okay, it's okay to not get along all the time. And funny enough, the interaction quickly shifted, and we ended up having an incredible day after that. Related back to the guy that loses his job, you know, losing your job objectively, it's frustrating. It's gonna cost a lot of time. You have to find another job. You might be short on bills in the interim. Okay, that's objectively what it is. But what he ends up stacking upon that is anger towards his supervisors for firing him, guilt at having to like drive home and tell his friends and family that he was fired from his job, fear that he won't be able to get another job of equal value, criticism and self-judgment for not working hard enough and getting fired in the first place. So all these other axillary emotions, and there can be infinitely more than that, stack upon the simple act of being fired and actually make it so much worse than it actually is. So if we can develop the awareness to pull back and to see everything else that we're stacking upon this and asking ourselves, okay, what is objectively happening? What are the facts? How bad is that? What am I adding on top of this? What are these other things that I'm adding on top of this that are making it so much worse? And am I willing to let go of those? Am I willing to surrender those? And especially related to everyone watching this video, if we're on a spiritual path, it's very easy to develop a spiritual ego. I myself have experienced this because life is a series of cyclical ups and downs. And as we're growing and transforming, it's going to be always going up, but it's still going up and down. And so for me, I've experienced certain downward states where I've been like, well, I'm on a spiritual path, like why is this happening to me? Or like self-judgment for like, Cal, like you should be letting go of this and be more spiritual, or like you should, you know, just like criticism. And that's been my whole life, is I've had judgment, self-judgment, criticism, and a lack of acceptance that I've stacked upon every experience I've had. And I think that a lot of humans are the same way. You know, we come into this world, we don't know what's going on, and we develop these, feelings that we're not good enough. And it sounds kind of cliche, like, oh, I'm not good enough, but it's true. And I think that if we can pull back and see, okay, what am I stacking upon this? Am I willing to let go of this? Because it's really just an ego creation to be self-judgmental. So am I willing to let go of that? And everything just gets better. So I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. I'm always super blown away by comments. It's really cool to see them, and it definitely gives me a cool sense of community, but also a feeling of wanting to make better videos and to continue to pump these out. So I'll see you guys next week. Ciao.